What's up, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY and the overall market. I'm going to break down some big news involving Elon Musk and President Trump and why Tesla's pushing right now as we see some more upside potential developing, given some news that just came out. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $2,000, you're guaranteed 25 free stocks in total, and deposit $5,000, you're guaranteed 60 free stocks. The offer ends on July 31st, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's talk about what's happening to Tesla so far. So Tesla started off quite weak as we got some bad news that came out with lots of downgrades from analysts. But instead of continuing to fall, we got some good news. We started to see some optimism about the Tesla robotaxi launch. And we also got some good news as President Trump was saying that he is willing to talk to Elon Musk. So some good news came out. As a result, Tesla's pushing, and there's more potential to go higher if we could break this resistance right here. So far, we're looking pretty darn good. Now, for Tesla, I mentioned in my morning videos that I was anticipating that Tesla would be dipping to about this 280 to 285 area. And then from there, as long as we could hold 280, we're looking for a potential bounce back up to the 300s because we wanted to see us hold this low right over here. If we lost this low, if we lost like 280, we would likely retest this low and start dumping. I said if we held 280, we were looking for the bounce, and so far we held 280 to see some buyers step in. Also, a lot of the news involving Elon Musk and President Trump has been priced in my opinion, so I think there is potential to see a bigger bounce, and we could be going a bit higher if we hold some key supports. Also, if you look at like the daily time frame, Tesla's looking pretty good right here, right? We're testing this the 50 EMA right over here. If you could hold above that, even tomorrow, we're going to be favoring not only a retest of 322, but even this gap fill back up to like the 330s. So there is quite a bit of upside potential in this if we could hold some key supports. So let's talk about the news. Why was Tesla initially dipping right over here? Why did Tesla come down to like 382 in the morning? Well, the reason, I'm sorry, not 382, 282. Sorry about that, guys. I wish Tesla was at 382 right now. We came down to 282 before we ended up getting that bounce. So why did we end up dipping the way we did? The first thing that came out was this. Let me just find this. There was some news that came out from Baird about how one of their top analysts, known as Ben Callow, came out and he cut his rating for Tesla from a buy to a neutral rating. His price target is now at $320 a share. It used to be at $370. He said this because of what's going on involving like the whole politics and such. He's not really happy about that because Tesla had a lot of benefits for robotaxi and the development of autonomous driving with President Trump's support. And because that feud happened between Elon and Trump, we're getting a lot of downgrades from different analysts. There's also some news that came out from, I think, Morningstar. They said that Tesla's fair value is at $250. That's part of why we saw Tesla dipping as well. However, there was some good news that came out. Tesla saw a nice reversal as now Tesla is anticipated to start testing its robotaxi officially as soon as June 12th in Austin, Texas. So in 3 days from now, they're going to be doing a lot of big tests over there. That's a lot of good news because that is looking a little bit better. And then very soon, so far, Tesla has confirmed that by the end of June, they should be launching the robotaxi officially for commercial use. They're not going to be doing it in every single part of Austin, Texas, just some parts where it's safe as they're continuing to expand it. They're just going to stick one toe in the water, then eventually put more toes in there, then an entire foot and an entire leg. They have to expand slowly to do it for safety, so that's why they're going to be doing this. But this is very optimistic news for Tesla, at least moving forward. Now, Tesla is known for being green about 52% of the time on Tuesdays. And looking at the current trend, the market is not looking as strong as Tesla right now because Tesla got this nice bounce move. When you go to like our price price ratio right here, see how this is like going up right over here. It's starting to go up higher. That's a sign that Tesla's starting to build some strength. So it's a good sign so far. And then on top of this, I know there's a lot of like sell ratings, all these people saying they want to sell Tesla, this and that. But because we're building some strength, we could continue to get bought back up as we get closer to the launch of this robotaxi as the tests start continuing. Now, there's a lot of news that came out involving Elon Musk and President Trump. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Some bad news came out, which was that the Chinese exports to the US dropped 35% in the month of May, despite the fact that the overall exports for China went up 4.8%. This tells us that right now there's a lot of tension between the US and China, and this was bad news, but the market did not dip much because of this right here. President Trump made this announcement on Friday about how we're going to see a lot of his officials, a lot of his team members negotiating with Chinese trade representatives for a potential trade deal. They started today and they're going to likely continue to do this as time goes on. There are some updates that came out from President Trump regarding this. I'm going to talk about those. And also, Elon Musk and President Trump did say a couple of things. Mainly, President Trump was talking about Elon. So I want to read some of the things that they have been saying. So Elon Musk obviously is still not in favor of the bill. He has made that very clear. He's not in favor of it, but I haven't heard too much from him recently besides that. But President Trump said a lot of things about Elon and also about China. So I'm going to read some of his quotes. Some of them are very important. So the first thing is that the trade talks went very well today between the US and China. This is some good news for the market. This is why the market was pushing to some extent because trade is not looking as good between the US and China. We're seeing the Chinese exports going down. We want to see things improve, and that's why there's optimism about this. The trades are expected to continue tomorrow at 10 a.m. local time in London. That's 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's some good news. He also said that he's going to be negotiating with Iran. Then he said that the budget bill is going to be passing very quickly. And President Trump has been going on about this. Besides that, we heard Lutnick, the U.S. Commerce Secretary, say that the U.S.-China talks were very fruitful, and they're expecting more negotiations to continue. Now, President Trump said that once again, they're doing the right thing. China is not easy, but we're doing very well with China. We have a good relationship, and President Trump is saying he's getting lots of good reports from London. So that's some good news that came out as trade talks are continuing. That was a little bit more optimistic. And then President Trump said that we're going to see some lifts to the export controls. So he's saying he wants to kind of lift those controls. That is some good news as well for the stock market. Now, when it comes to Elon Musk and Tesla, President Trump said that he might move his Tesla and Starlink around, but he's not going to get rid of his Tesla now and the Starlink at the White House. He said that he wishes Elon Musk very well. So now President Trump is saying he wishes Elon well. That's a good update. And I think that's a little bit more positive for Tesla. He said that he may move his Tesla around a bit, but he doesn't know what he's going to do yet. Then he mentioned that he doesn't know if Elon Musk was on certain things at the White House, substances. You guys know what I'm referring to. He's not sure if that was the case with Elon when asked about it, but nonetheless, he wishes Elon Musk the best. He said he hasn't been thinking too much about speaking with Elon, but he would imagine that Elon wants to talk to him. So President Trump is saying that Elon Musk would likely want to talk to him. And so far, he said he's actually open to speaking with Elon. Then he said he's open to speaking about him. He said, I would imagine Elon wants to talk to me and I'm willing to speak to him. Then he said that he has another important meeting coming out with Iran very soon. He went on about that. I'm not getting too many updates about that. And then there's some news that came out that Elon Musk has deleted a post saying that President Trump's tariffs would cause a recession. So now Elon Musk is deleting a lot of the posts that were very negative about President Trump and his policies. He's starting to delete a lot of them. So could this be a sign that the tensions are cooling off between them? Elon Musk doesn't want to say too much about that. He wants to just get rid of those posts. Does he feel like he was too emotional and that he wants to kind of like clear some things up? So we'll see what Elon Musk has to say. I haven't heard too much from him yet. We'll see how that ends up going. He must be very busy with the robotaxi launch coming very soon. So we'll see how it goes. But I just want to say that the tension between Musk and President Trump is going down. It's going down. Things are becoming less tense, and that is good for the Tesla share price. Besides that, keep in mind, I'll keep you guys updated in case we get some more updates involving Elon Musk. A couple more things. Okay, tomorrow is going to be Tuesday, June 10th. We have the Business Optimism Index report at 6 a.m. Then we have some notes and bill auctions at 11:30 and 1 p.m. Then just keep in mind that on Wednesday we have CPI data. We're expecting a slight increase year over year. And then on Thursday we have PPI data, so keep that in mind. Right now, greed is making up the majority of the sentiment right now. We're going to see if this holds or not, if the market forms a top or not. Momentum's at fierce, so we'll see how well this ends up doing. The put to call option ratio is also kind of flat right here. We're going to see if this goes up or down depending on how things end up going. And finally, the VIX is neutral. We're going to see if this bounces or not. When it comes to other things such as like GameStop, we have earnings tomorrow, so be ready for those who are ready. We have Oracle on Wednesday and more retail as time goes on. Anyways, that's it for all the market news and updates so far. I'm glad that President Trump is saying that Musk is willing to speak to him and he's willing to like he's even willing to speak to Elon now. He wishes Elon very well. He said that, and he's not saying he wants to sell his Tesla. So that's some good news. That's part of why Tesla bounced. Some optimism about the tests going on with the robotaxi is part of why we bounced, and also because a lot of the news is priced in for Teslas for making a higher low here. So this has potential to fill this imbalance. So Tesla's very simple to play here. It's actually very simple. Let me just pull up some things real quick. So when you go to the 4 hour time frame, we have this support at 309. This red line is at 309. If Tesla fails at 309 tomorrow, we could be dipping to the low 300s back down to 303 or below. If we're bullish, you need to see Tesla hold above 314. If 314 holds, I think we're going for 322 to 325 between this imbalance over here and our 50 EMA to go back up to 325. If that breaks, we're gonna be going even higher to fill the gap in 330. So what do I think Tesla's going to do? I think that there's a very good chance that because the daily is looking good, because we're above our 50 EMA and we have this gap to fill, Tesla could climb even higher. Also, because our strength indicators are going up for Tesla, whereas the market's kind of flattening, Tesla's looking strong. So it's a very, very good sign. Tesla's beta is getting stronger this week, which tells us it's building that momentum, and we're seeing a lot of big call buy orders. So we could shuffle between like 309 to 314 for some time, but I think later on we're looking for an attempt for 322 to 325, and we'll see if we break that to go even higher. But I think this imbalance right here could get filled, taking Tesla even higher from here. So I anticipate some upside that's going to likely be coming. Also, if we look at like our daily time frame, we're looking pretty good right now to fill this gap. So far, so good by Tesla stock. Now, with that being said, despite the fact that Tesla's building strength and I think it could be going a little bit higher, I'm a little bit concerned about SPY and the QQQ. Why do I say that? Because the first thing is that when you look at SPY, okay, we have this rising wedge that's very evident, and we have a triple bearish divergence starting from here. There's a triple bearish divergence. So could we go higher? Yeah, I think it's possible we go a little bit higher, but here's what I think is going to happen. It's possible we shuffle, go a little bit higher for like the low 600s, depending on how CPI and these other things go for like Wednesday and beyond. But then ultimately, if we do go to the low 600s, like 602 to 604, I would not be surprised if we end up losing 595 to dip to fill this gap. So I think we're going to fill this gap within 2 weeks, especially as we have FOMC next week. So there's going to be some downside move likely coming, looking at the rising wedge and these bearish confluences. There's also a bearish divergence between SPY and the QQQ. So could we go higher? Yeah, we might consolidate, go a little bit higher for now. Since we're technically making higher highs and higher lows, we might go a little bit higher. But keep my warning at mind that there's going to likely be a rug pull. There's going to likely be a rug pull looking at this rising wedge, and that could drag us down to fill this gap, if not go even lower. So please keep that in mind. For the QQQ, we're making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. We're looking quite good right now. Now, if we break resistance at 533, we're looking for an attempt to get to 535. And if we end up losing 528, we're looking for a dump back down towards the gap fill around 525. My gut tells me that we're kind of like consolidating right here, and that we might be slowly inching our way up for the high right here. We're going to see if we break this high or not to go a bit higher for like 535. 532 to 535 is going to be very tough, and we might consolidate here before we start dumping back down to fill that gap at 525 within 2 weeks. So could we go higher? Yeah, we could consolidate and push for the 530s, but then there's going to be a risk of us dipping back down towards 525. On the IWM Russell 2000, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And there's a good chance we start going higher for basically this 215 area. Now, if you want to be a bear, you want to see us lose 210 to start dipping lower. I wouldn't be surprised if we go a bit higher for like 215 or so. But then we're going to see if 215 holds. If we don't hold that, we could turn back down towards like 210. So we'll see how that ends up going as time goes on. On ES, we're making higher highs and higher lows. I do think we might be going for this rising wedge, but for now, we could see a visit of like 6,025 to 6,050. If we break 6,050, we could be going even higher. If we don't break that, if we just consolidate between 6,025 and 6,050, we could be looking for a move back down to 5,963. So we'll just have to see how that goes. For NQ, we're making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. If we continue to break 22,000, we're looking more bullish. And if we get a rejection, we could turn back down. With this bearish divergence, we could be looking for a move back down to 21,600. If that fails us, we could be dipping even lower. So I do think what's going to happen is we go a little bit higher. We could be looking for 22,800 to 21,800 to 22,000, that range. But then what could happen is we might consolidate here before we start dipping lower back down to 21,500. So we'll just have to see how it goes. For Bitcoin, there's an inverse head and shoulders like pattern. We're looking for basically 110 to 112,000. We might be going a little bit higher. And then we'll see if we get a rejection back down to 108,000. So give that some time. For Tesla, we're bullish. Like I said before, we're bullish. I want to see us hold 309 and basically 314. As long as those hold, we're looking for essentially 322.5 to 325 as our targets, and we'll see how it ends up going. So keep that in mind. Nvidia is looking bullish in terms of the trend, but I'm kind of concerned about this resistance at 144. So could we go a bit higher? Yeah, we could consolidate here. If we break 144, I'm looking for more upside. If we don't break that, we could be dipping back down towards 137. So please be very careful with that. For Aapl, we're making lower highs right here. I want to see us basically break and hold above 205 to turn more bullish. If we don't break this, we could reject and start dipping lower. So I do think we might be retesting 202 and consolidate. If it doesn't hold, we're looking for that gap fill back down to about 197. There's a little bit of weakness nonetheless. Netflix is looking weak here. I'm looking for a test of 1213. Very, very soon I anticipate some downside. So we'll see if we come back down here. We'll see if we bounce or not. If not, we could continue to fall. For MicroStrategy, we have a double bottom. If we lose 381, we're going to be looking for a bigger dip. But if we break this, we could be pushing higher for like 402. So I anticipate we're going to be looking for 402, and we're going to see what happens from there if we end up getting rejection or not. I do anticipate some upside for 402, and we'll see if it rejects. Celsius could be going for basically 44. Might be looking for a bit more upside, but then we could reject back down to 40. Super micro is very much just range bound. We love to reject near 44, but 44.5 or so, but we like to get bought back up around 39. Could be looking for the 44s, and we'll see if we come back down as we consolidate, so give it some time. For Palantir, we could be looking more bullish. If we end up dumping to about 120, we're going to be dumping lower. And then if we start pushing higher, we're going to be looking for 134, so we'll just have to see how it goes. So we're going to be very careful to see if we break out or not. If not, we could be turning back down. As you can tell, we're going back and forth here, so we could be pushing for 134, and we'll see how it goes. For Rivian, we have 14.5 to about 14.8 as our resistances. We might be going a little higher. Then we'll see if we turn back down. For SoFi, we're looking good. It depends, though. Can we break the higher at 14.5 or not? If we come short, we could turn back down to fill this gap. So be careful with SoFi and Rivian. For AMD, we could be going a bit higher for basically 124. I could see a little bit more upside with this inverse head and shoulders at play. I see some more upside potential on this chart for 124 to 125. Then we'll see if we break this high over here at like 125. If we hit 124 to 125 and reject, we could turn back down. So be kind of careful. But I do see a little bit more upside for now. ARM is making higher lows so long as we don't end up losing 133. We're looking for basically 140 as our target. PayPal needs to hold above 74. If not, we could be looking for 72.73, and we'll see how that goes. Coinbase, looking pretty good. We're looking for 262, and we'll see if it breaks or not. If not, we could be turning back down to fill this gap around 244. For Amazon, nice accumulation right here. We're looking for an attempt to get up to about 220. Might be going a bit higher with this inverse head and shoulders. So I could see 220, but be careful once we hit that. We'll see if it rejects off that or not. Might go a little bit higher. Meta concerns me because we need to hold above 700 to push for 710. If we don't hold 700, we could turn back down to 685. So we'll see how it goes as we consolidate. If we don't break and hold 700, we're looking for a dip back down to 685. For Google, we're looking for 178 to 180. If we break 180, we're more bullish. But if we come short, there might be a consolidation here. We got to break and hold 180 to continue. If not, we could be turning back down to 173. For Microsoft, we're going to be looking to see if we could push back up to about 475. Might go a little bit higher here, and we'll see if we reject off this bearish divergence to turn back down to 467. So keep that in mind as time goes on. For TJT, we're going to see if we form a bullish divergence, if we bounce or not. It's in the middle. It might be trying to go up to 22. The VIX has a falling wedge. Okay, so If it gets above 18.5, that could be a sign of a breakout. Might continue to consolidate, but the breakout could be coming maybe after CPI, maybe after FOMC next week. It may take like another week or so, but once this is above 18.5, I think this could start filling the gap. That could be bearish for stocks. So be ready, guys. There's going to be some kind of rug pull likely coming as a result. Inverse essentials on the dollar index, if it starts breaking out, that's also bearish for markets. So for now, Tesla's bullish. We could be looking for an attempt for 322.5 to 325 tomorrow. As long as we hold above 314, we might start off with some shuffling over here before it starts to break out higher. There's potential in this with all the optimism about the robotaxi tests. That's some good news. So we'll just have to see how things end up going. Thank you for listening. Tesla has more upside potential, but the market is not looking as strong. The market may go up a little bit, but we have these rising wedges forming, and there might be a top forming for a rug pull very soon for the broader market. So it's a little bit weaker than Tesla. Tesla's showing a lot of strength compared to the market right now, so keep that in mind. Anyways, I wish you all the best. Please enjoy the rest of your guys' days and your nights. And I'll see you guys very soon tomorrow before the market opens. Thank you for listening, and peace out.